the responsibilities. Earn enough, not more, not less. Let Francis know from time to time developments in my work. I am God and you are my Billy boy. And then he finishes with love to Joni, Ruthie, Michael, Jenny, Joanna, Reg, Bernard, Mother, my mother, May, Diana Snow, Judith, and to all the new ones interested in my message, and to yourself. And that was as you could see, very, very interesting, and how will I put it? It's even strengthened.
Yeah, very heartwarming.
Yes, even strengthened my you could say my ability, and my resolution to carry out what he'd asked me to do.
What about the part about Francis? You didn't. There was no talk about forming a trust.
No, and so when after Barbara had dropped the body, no, I'm not sure. No, I think that even in those 2 years, if I remember rightly, because of Barbara's words about Francis, I forgot about those what Barbara had said, that Francis was to hand it over to me, and that when I considered the time to be right, I was to form a trust. Very significant.
It was easy to do
Very.
because Francis was the leader in Australia, so you
Yeah.
didn't question it.
I didn't question it because of the message that Barbara had said once and for all. Francis is the leader. So I approached whatever solicitor. I just naturally approached one that, probably a local one, and the instruction that I received was that it would be that a trust could not be formed. But that I was advised, why not establish a company, which is a different legal type of body. And with the company, you would have certain shareholders that, as it were, the company owns the property. And that was the beginning of an unfortunate legal tangle, which persists even to this day, with, at the moment, the trust that does the company was later in. I incorporated the company into a trust structure, and that trust has that company running it. It sounds complicated, but I won't. But I'm not a lawyer. In other words, all I can tell you at the present moment, unfortunately, not in accordance with what Barbara had asked, the property is directed by a company with 9 shareholders, each with 1 share in, you could say, the value of the property. Not a good legal position for this precious place to be so legally structured.
Vulnerable.
It's vulnerable.
So we'll get into that later.
All right.
And so, do you want to just move into Father Dalton and Bonnie?
It is interesting. Apropos, I should also mention that this also, as it were, conveys something again of Francis's approach and attitude at that time. That day in which, when Barbara had turned to me, looked at me and said, "If you ever need money, come to me and I will see to it." It's quite significant that I can remember it so vividly. It was so clear because I was so surprised that as we walked together out of Mundley Hall, after Barbara had gone, he had been carried back, and we were coming out of Mundley Hall, just near the doorway, and Francis said, in a certain tone, that directive of Barbara's, that he will see to the finance, all that means is that he'll give you my money. Now,
And it wasn't a joke.
and it was not a joke. He was not. He apparently certain money from Francis had been directed by Barbara to be given to Robert and Lorna, particularly for an eye operation on their daughter, Radha. She had one eye that
Didn't follow.
that wasn't focused. It needed refocusing, resetting. Sorry, however you could explain it. And Francis, who had never had money, who had always struggled with quite severe poverty over the years. People had supported him. There's no question, but I'm not saying that he was in any sense. He had not in any sense lived in an affluent way, and I can understand his reluctance or his natural human tendency to try to be concerned about losing whatever he had. And that's what I feel also was, perhaps it's my feeling, the motivation behind his reluctance to hand the property over to me. He'd already handed my house in Sydney to me, and the thought that I would have both properties in my name. Barbara had faith in me, but Francis didn't.
That's the bottom line.
J. Barbara.
Okay, you're on. Jay Baba.
J. Barbara. I was in reading that episode from Barbara also reminded me of the various cables. Quite a few messages, messages in letters from Francis, and there are also cables, and this is some of them. Cable about Brisbane, and that was a Warana festival procession, which we participated in, and it said, "Splendid response received. Barbara says, good old Billy boy, and that many more opportunities will soon arise."
Yes. Oh, I just was questioning after the messages you previously got about Barbara saying something will open up for you.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
No.
In retrospect, can you say?
No. All I know is that certainly opportunities did arise.
Yeah.
There was no question that it was a wonderful, active, Barbara-filled period of 2 years, which actually then continued. But I'm just saying 2 years. It's 2 years before, over that period before Barbara dropped the body. Another one was your letter to Francis, 29th January, about my work in Brisbane made me happy. Be prepared for more opportunities in near future. Love to you, Michael, Joni, Ruthie, Jenny, May, Diana, Barbara. And that was, as I've written here, the above 2 cables were in response to our groups sponsoring a float in the Warana Festival procession. The float carried large photographs of Barbara, and we handed out many leaflets afterwards.